All right, welcome everyone joining us on Zoom or Facebook, YouTube, wherever you find us. We are just a few seconds from starting, and I know that yesterday I was setting up this week's meditation, so the guiding was a little bit more heavy. It would be a little bit more sparse today. You can always refer to setting up this week practice on yesterday's recording if you missed it. Inviting you to close your eyes right now. And gently let awareness rest on the breath. Again, meditation is the art of doing nothing. Which is why I'm wording my instruction in that way, to just let awareness rest on the breath. Observing the breath coming in and then going out. But without doing anything actively. Just resting and simply being aware of what is already happening. Noticing the breath, the sensations of the breath coming in, touching the walls of the nostrils, cool and refreshing, and then going out, also touching the walls of the nostrils and giving us sensations of warmth, perhaps even healing. Just resting as awareness and observing the sensations. Also noticing that as awareness comes to rest on the breath, the body automatically, it seems, begins to let go, to release any tension. Just seems to want to come to a place also of resting. All of a sudden, the belly can freely and fully rise and fall without tucking it in, holding it in. Suddenly the shoulders want to just drop down and away from the ears. Suddenly the muscles of the face just surrender. It's nothing we are doing, it's just kind of yearning that appears as awareness rests on the breath. And from that deep relaxation, that profound surrender that continues with every out breath, as if the out breath was a conduit for a deeper letting go, an emptying of the breath that accompanies the emptying of the self, the tightness of the ego self. A deep, deep releasing with each out breath. A surrender into the moment. From that place, I invite, if you so choose, to join me in chanting Shalom. 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 And after the chant, just simply allowing the body to find once more the natural rhythm of its own breath, the natural cadence of its rhythm. And just that is a practice in letting go. Just that is a practice of realizing our lack of control. And being fine with actually not having to be in charge of anything. Because the body keeps on breathing, whether we are aware of it or not. The heart keeps on beating, whether we are aware of it or not. A million processes are happening within our body that we're definitely not aware of every moment. The mind thinks the thoughts because that's what it does, just like the heart beats, the mind thinks. And as we practice meditation, we quickly realize that we're not in charge of that either. Despite the instructions of practice of only focusing on the breath, we find ourselves distracted by the mind and lost in this thought or that thought, this story or that story. So clearly we're not in charge of the mind either. That's one of the first things actually that meditation reveals to us. It's our inability to control our mental production, our physical experience, our emotional experience. And that's where we introduce Israel, our focus for this week's meditation. Israel, the God wrestler, the spiritual seeker, that which is within us, believing it is meditating. The meditator within ourselves that believes it just sat down right now, a few minutes ago, to practice. And we need the meditator to get us to sit down and practice, to follow the instructions. But spirituality and spiritual instructions are very sick and twisted in their core, because they are there to hook the meditator in. So that we might transcend the meditator altogether. So we're inviting in the meditator. The meditator is needed in order to destroy the meditator. And you can observe the meditator within. It is that part of us that wants to do this really well, to really be really good at following instructions, that believes that meditation is there to be self-enhancing. That if we meditate, we're going to become better people. That we are going to gain something. That we are going through meditation to improve ourselves. That this is a practice of self-improvement. I mean, we can all feel into that yearning. I think it is part of all of us, that desire. And that's the Yisrael within, the spiritual seeker within. Who wants to become more, better, more refined, to get the most improved word. But then you have the Shema part of the biblical mantra, the Torah, that says, not really, just rest as awareness and listen, Shema, listen. This is not about self-improvement. This is about self-transcendence. And what transcends the self but that which is listening? Listening to the many ways the self arises, constructed of thoughts, emotions, desires, sensations. So you see the paradox in the mantra. We tell the seeker to stop seeking, to stop everything. Just stop everything. Stop, just stop. Stop. Stop and rest and listen. Exhaling, observing the body breathing out. Shema. Listen. But then observing the body breathing in, saying Israel. Listen. Just listen. Just remain aware. Completely equanimous. Unmoved, uninvolved. Just listen. Israel. Just listen. And we gently let go of our practice. Gently transition out of our meditation, taking perhaps a couple of deeper breaths, stretching the body if we feel the need to do so. As always, I want to invite you to continue your practice even beyond this 30 minutes together, to let it infuse perhaps the rest of your day, to cultivate this observer within, and to observe the Israel within you, that part of self that is always striving, always discontent, always wanting, always seeking, always dissatisfied, always frustrated by reality as well. And to hold that Israel gently, really gently, with great compassion, knowing that it can't help itself, it's just built in. And see what happens when you are able to do that, how you are relating to yourself, and maybe even how you begin to relate to others as well. But for now, we'll close with our Shalom chant, as always offering, dedicating this practice, and perhaps the little shalom we have found in our life, to be shared with all beings, that all beings might find also in their life, their communities, their families, their world, a little more wholeness, a little more peace and sense of harmony. Shalom. 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 Modani, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good Wednesday.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Modani.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Rabbi.
Modani, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, Rabbi.
Modani, thank you.
And we'll see everyone on Thursday.
Yes.
Take care.